The zombie pandemic appears, the whole city becomes ruins, everywhere there are brutal bloodthirsty zombie walking, the few remaining lucky survivors. Can they escape this scene? Let movie summary together. In a city in the Philippines, there was a sudden outbreak of a mutant strain of dengue virus. The number of deaths increased, and the hospital was filled with corpses. The tried doctor placed the patient on the corpse bed, but as soon as after answering the phone call, he discovered that the corpse had disappointed. The doctor was very surprised. He slowly approached the bed of the corpse, then he discovered that the girl just now had come back to life. No one could have expected that the virus would mutate again. It not only brings the dead back to life, but its infectious attack power is also very strong. Everywhere in the city, incidents of human injury and chaos, unprecedented in history, have begun. In the prison, the alarm rang, then the prison door opened, and the prisoners frantically flowed out, but then they ran back with frightened faces, and there were several infected people in front of the prison door. The virus mutated. They were like crazy beasts. Every time they met someone they would bite. Even the prison guards did not ignore finances. Iman tried to calm down. He discovered that if he ran away with the flow of people, sooner or later he would be caught by biting. He only had to go against everyone direction, offering him a new way to live. His identity as a special forces soldier was also a trump card that made him confident, relying on his strong and flexible body, that no virus-infected zombie could come close to him. His fellow prisoner, his scent also followed closely behind, completely avoiding all attacks. The two people finally escaped the prison safely. They knew they were not really out of danger yet, so they quickly robbed him, get a truck, step on the accelerator really hard and drive out of this scary prison. When you get to a safe road, Man immediately calls his wife, but unexpectedly the call is still in an unreachable state. This made me have a bad feeling, so I urgently wanted to go home and see my wife again. Simi family was not in city, so I went with my sister to my house very quickly. The two of us drove into the city. The devastation made them even more afraid. The authorities continuously called on the radio that the virus had spread out of control. Everyone should stay indoors and not make any noise because the hearing of people infected with the virus is very sharp. Seeing that the road ahead was quickly blocked, he decided to walk home, but everywhere there were people infected with the virus. Even people as big as him were terrified. They quickly changed out of their prison clothes. I went down the sewer road and intended to go through this road to get to my home, but the blood stairs on the ground showed that the sewer reed road below was not safe. In the dark corner, there were many people infected with the virus standing there. It quite here, and they always in a state of sleep. I want to see that. I'm very happy. People infected with the virus are obviously only sensitive to sound, so I slowly and gently walked past them. As I passed, I didn't dare to make a sound, no matter what noise they made. They finally safely walked through the sewer street to the Element's house. There were also many infected people. Although being close to someone infected with the virus gave people goosebumps, they had to grit their teeth and endure it. Then passed by. Suddenly, the two of them discovered a lucky boy alive in a box in the hallway. They kept making hand gestures and the boy walked towards them in silence. If they stayed in one place like that, there was only one ending: death. Under the encouragement of two people who would have thought that at this moment, a zombie at the end of the hallway suddenly stood up, then roared loudly, immediately alarming all the zombies. The two of them risked their lives to take the boy and run away, when the other person was about to chase them away. When he arrived, Iman grabbed the fire extinguisher and ran up the wall and sprayed them hard. The hallway was suddenly engulfed in a white smoke, but it also caused the people infected with the virus to lose their target. Iman held the axe in his hand and walked forward. When he saw people infected with the virus standing alone, he immediately lifted the axe and beheaded him. He quickly opened an escape route, but the smoke didn't cover it for long. Gradually flew away, and everyone could see clearly again. The person infected with the virus once again fell into a crazy state, but luckily Iman went to the door of the house. He pulled the remaining two people into the house, with great difficulty. Closed the door. But Iman couldn't be happy, because even though he searched all the rooms, he couldn't find his wife and children. Iman looked at the photos of his wife and children together with gentle eyes, but in his heart was very painful. Suffering, they must have been more or less healthy. Now the boy spoke, so he is also a person in this apartment, so of course he knows his wife and daughter, Iman. At noon, when the virus spread strongly, he saw with his own eyes Iman family following the flow of people fleeing to the 3rd floor, even wondering if his wife and children were still alive. He immediately decided to go to the 3rd floor. There were still many people infected with the virus on the way, but as long as they didn't make a sound, it would be safe to get there. It must have been a matter of operation. But when he was halfway there, he saw his mother infected with the virus. Mui noticed that she pulled her back and told him not to move forward and surrender his life. And on this side, Mui also found out. Now he couldn't find his companion, so he decided to turn around and look for them. But unfortunately he didn't find Timo, but instead found the wife he remembered the night before. After graduating from school, his brother wife had escaped the first attack, but she still couldn't let go of her missing child. So she left the shelter alone, but after only taking a few steps, she encouraged a person infected with the virus who kept walking back and forth. His wife was scared and didn't dare. She breathed heavily as she wanted to turn around and go back, but discovered that there was also a person infected with the virus following behind her, seemingly stuck in the middle of the road. The wife immediately felt hopeless and fainted when she woke up. It was so lucky to see two people, because of killing each other. The virus fell to the ground and she was only injured because a nail stabbed into her. The girl had not yet had time to rejoice and was preparing to continue when she saw a shadow from the sky. Fortunately, it was not the person infected with the virus, but Kui's husband who came back to meet her. The two of them tried to suppress the joy of seeing each other again. They hid in an empty house behind which many people infected with the virus chased away frantically. At this time, Iman also ignored those people and only cared about his wife wound. After bandaging the wound, he learned that his daughter was missing from his wife, especially outside. Infected people, the virus is completely surrounded, not to mention that if they go out to look for people, they can still be attacked by virus-infected people who kick in the door and destroy them. The smell hiding in a nearby room also detects this difficult situation because of the prisoner, close and also because of the boy in front of him. He could only try his best, only to see him storm out of Italy room using an iron stick make nosy to lure all the zombie out, which ended in his death. Everyone knows that in the end, they became food for people infected with the virus, and the boy and his wife also helped. They wanted to escape from this apartment building, but they didn't expect that there would be zombie rushing up below. So they were stuck on the 3rd floor. She had to knock on each door. And finally there was a house for them to enter. It turned out that this was the house of a local policeman. There were a few lucky survivors gathered there, but they didn't expect that the boy that Iman was the victim of was the main one. He's the son of a police officer, and he probably a good person who gets revenge. My brother and his wife discovered their missing daughter in a room. It turns out she was saved by the police officer when he went out to look for her, looking for their son. The two families were excited. They thanked each other, but very quickly they had to think twice because there were too many people here, so they couldn't have enough supplies, so they had to escape quickly to be lucky. This policeman also there were many weapons and everyone quickly packed up their things to prepare to leave, but unfortunately at this time the police discovered that his son was infected with the virus. At first, he wanted to hide this, but the boy very quickly passed away. Consciously rushed into the group of people, Iman quickly opened fire and killed the boy. The gunshot immediately alarmed the zombie of the entire building. At the same time, it also destroyed all the last rationally of his police son, said that he immediately wanted everyone to stay here to die with him. He directly opened fire and killed the two survivors who still loved him. He took this opportunity to take his wife and children out of the room. The room was just the noise of the struggle. Zombie were gathered around. When I got there, I knew that now I had no choice but to risk my life. After letting my wife and children escape, this man immediately fell to the ground. He started shooting frantically at the zombie. At this moment, he was like a god of war because his wife and children were there, behind him. He did not back down, but tried to trade everything to kill the zombie who dared to get close to the ammunition in the rifle. The ammunition in the rifle was sold out. He pulled out the piston again. The efficiency of killing zombie did not decrease when all the ammunition was sold. He pulled out his dagger and found out that close attacks were Iman's strong point. After defeating all the zombie, Iman discovered that his wife and children were nowhere to be found. He ran nowhere to be found. He ran all the way up the stairs without success, seeing their whereabouts. He was very confused and didn't know what to do. Just now, his wife and children were discovered by a policeman looking for revenge. She quickly used a flashlight to shine directly into his eyes. As for the mother, Bo Fat used all her strength during the dispute. She stole the policeman gun and then she opened fire to finish off the opponent. Just the noise of the struggle attracted people infected with the virus nearby 2 times. Mother and daughter got lost again that day, but after a while after the email, they found their daughter hiding in the corner of the wall. After a while of consoling and encouraging her, she brought her to her side in a dazed state. Father and daughter were hugging each other. Another person infected with the virus came out from the darkness. Fortunately, the wife promptly came and used a gun to deal with the danger. In the end, the family of 3 finally reunited and remained silent, trying to appear smiling and telling his wife that she needed a place. There was a truck parked. The key was in the car and he himself did not go with the two of them anymore because just now while fighting the event, he was accidentally bitten by a zombie and injured. His wife's eyes were filled with tears and crying, told him to come with me, but I was always afraid that after mutating, he would hurt his daughter. Even though he couldn't bear it, he was still determined to let mother and daughter leave. At this time, the whole city had turned into a pile of rubble. Everywhere people were infected with the virus and lost consciousness. The mother and son went through the underground sewer and easily found the truck, and Yemen also began to mutate. This is the end of the movie. This movie is called Daijiro. Do you think this movie is good? If you find it interesting, please leave me 1 like and 1 registration. Don't forget to comment if you're not satisfied. And now, see you in the next videos. Bye bye.